Hello and welcome to a musical episode of the Creative Differences podcast. I'm Dallas, and I need to spend more time with my friends who like hip hop because I really don't get to talk about it enough.
I'm Gabby, and this is going to be a lot of top 40 for you. I'm so sorry.
And I'm Demi, and I like a lot of pop music, but I also like a lot of indie R&B music. Welcome to the Creative Differences podcast, your one-stop shop for movie reviews, Fancast Fridays, Throwback Thursdays, and a number of other pop culture-related items. Today, we are talking about something that we don't usually get to. We're talking about our favorite music artists of 2021. You guys don't really get to hear a lot about the music that we like listening to, and we figure once a year we should look back on the year and talk about what music we were listening to the entire time.
That is correct. So please like and subscribe and share and do all that stuff because, like Demi just said, we don't really get into music a lot and we want to make it count. Also, if you're wondering where Colin is, he went to go make up some fake names for bands and artists, so he's not here at the moment.
He really doesn't come to these podcasts because he hates that we make fun of the names of
out here.
they're non-existent.
He's probably out here listening to like Neutral Milk Hotel. Like, just,
You guys will
I love
hear
you. I love you, Colin. I love you so
Do you
much.
listen to color, noun, adjective?
you guys will hear the names of some of these artists when we get to his list. But before we start going into our list, our format, I'm going to inform you guys on how it goes, as I do every time that we do this. We are going to go round by round, number 10, number 9, number 8, blah, 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 so on, so it goes. And we are going to say our favorite artist of the year. And if it's higher on somebody else's list, they will call skip, and we will wait until it's at the highest point of the list. But seeing as most of us have very different music tastes, that probably isn't going to happen too much today. But we're going to try, and we're going to find out, and we're going to have a lot of fun.
We are. For example, Colin's not here, but if he was here and his number 9 was Gleep Glorp and the Fruit Loops, then if Gabby had that as her number 6, then she would say skip, and we would talk about it at 6 instead of 9. Also, that might be on Colin's list. I don't know. All right, let's get started.
Honorable mentions. Let's start us off. Dallas?
Yes, I have 3 honorable mentions, and they are Russ, The Offspring, and Billie Eilish.
Gabby? Do you have any?
My honorable mentions are the Marias, and then Felix the First and Drea Mack.
Dope. I have 7 honorable mentions.
Oh my God.
Mostly because 5 of them are like contemporary artists, but 2 of them are like they do scores, musical scores, and I wanted to include that as well. So my honorable mentions list is Christina Aguilera for her songs Pa' Mi Muchachas and Somos Nada. I don't speak Spanish if you can tell. Normani for her song Wild Side. Rachel Zegler for her song Let Me Try and for her involvement in the West Side Story soundtrack. Billie Eilish for Happier Than Ever, her album, not just the song. Taylor Swift for her re-releases of Fearless and Red. And my composers that I have on here are Lorne Balfe, because he understood the assignment for Black Widow, and Hans Zimmer for his soundtrack for Dune.
Also, Demi reminded me, movie people, one more honorable mention for James Samuel for The Harder They Fall.
Nice.
The director and composer, because he's super talented.
All right, let's get this started. Number 10, Dallas?
My number 10 is a surprise to everyone, most of all me. It's Drake.
Wow.
What?
Right?
For Certified Lover Boy?
It's not going to be.
What?
Wait, what's funny is it's not going to be for the same reasons that he was on Gabby's list that one year when all she did was like bash him the entire time.
Listen.
But he was on the list.
He was on the list, but he should know where he stands with me.
Okay, so here's the thing. Though. Let me explain something. When I'm making this list, I'm looking at the songs I like most this year and who made them.
Yeah.
I didn't really like Drake's album as a whole.
Okay, good.
Certified Lover Boy has a lot of songs, a lot of which I don't like. A couple I actually hate. And it's probably the worst cover art I've ever seen. But
yes! Like, how dare he?
It's ridiculous.
Gosh.
But some of these songs are absolute fire. I got to the end of the year. Shout out to Spotify Rap. I got to the end of the year and I was playing a lot of songs very often. And I realized that quite a few of them are on this album. There are things about Drake that I don't like. And sometimes it makes me forget that this nigga can really rap and sing. He does both of these things well. He makes good music.
He does make good music.
Also, he has perfected the art of being petty. Drake is the pettiest person in hip hop. And he's so good at working it into his art. I have a couple examples of this. So he has a song called You Only Live Twice. For some context, you guys know Swiss Beats, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's Alicia Keys' husband, very prolific music producer. A couple years ago, he was on IG Live, drunk, and he was insulting Drake. He called him a pussy, and apparently he threatened to shoot down Drake's private jet. Don't know why. I didn't see the video. It's very strange. But the next day when he was sober, he apologized. He said it's all love.
That's not all love, but okay.
No.
I love that that's what famous people say. They're like, all love. And
It's
I'm
all
like,
love, bro. Yeah, Drake can hold a grudge. So
oh, he can.
you remember the song Fancy? Oh, you fancy, huh? It's on Drake's
Oh, you fancy,
with
huh?
Swiss Beats.
Yeah.
And there's also a song called Unthinkable by Alicia Keys that Drake wrote with Alicia Keys, who was Swiss Beats' wife.
Yep.
Keep all of that in mind when I say the next line for you. He says, the man I see in the mirror is actually going platinum. Unthinkable when I think of the way these niggas been acting. I never did you nothing and you play like we family, huh? Next thing you want to shoot me down, it can't be love. Not sure where you was trying to send it, it can't be up. That day you sounded like a bitch, you fancy, huh? And it's just like,
no.
Damn.
The pettiness.
Wow, Drake's ghostwriter is amazing.
Right.
Just
okay, I'm gonna come back to that.
Hold up. Drake got some bars, my guy.
I know, I'm just a hater.
You might. But we're gonna come back to that.
OG Drake had some bars back in the day.
When
I used to listen to his old stuff.
We're gonna come back to that because you guys know about the Drake and Kanye beef.
Yep.
And you know that obviously Kanye posted Drake's address on social media.
I forgot about that.
Out here doxing people.
Right, and that he lives on apparently a street called Bridle Path. So Drake on this album, he has a song called 7 a.m. on Bridle Path. And Drake does this thing with time and location. And whenever he does that, apparently that's when he's gonna go off. So
what?
He has like 5 a.m. Calabasas, 7 a.m. Bridle Path. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Kanye leaked Drake's address on social media. So then on 7 a.m. in Bridle Path, which great song, by the way, he has a couple lines, one of which is, that's why you're buying into the hype that the press feeding you. You know the fourth level of jealousy is called media. Isn't that an ironic revelation? Give that address to your driver and make it your destination instead of just a post out of desperation. And it's like, man, this nigga can rap. I forgot. And then obviously Drake and Ye are two of the biggest names in hip hop, and they're typically considered to be in the big three, along with Kendrick Lamar or whoever you put in your big three.
Yeah.
And many hip hop fans, myself included, used to love Kanye. That nigga was our hero in the early 2000s.
Yep. College dropout.
So that makes it hit even more when Drake says, look at the total wages and look at the heroes falling from grace in their older ages. If we talking top three, then you've been sliding the third like stolen bases. It's like,
ouch.
The niggas.
He needs some cold water for that burn.
So yeah, I remember when this came out and I was talking about this song with my family. And I was talking about, say what you will about Drake, but this is a dope song. And then my cousin, Gabby, Nick.
Yeah, I love Nick.
He said, but did he write it though?
Right? I'm like, Drake's ghostwriter's going off. Because even Kendrick was like, what did Kendrick say? He said, sharing bars like a 2-man cell. I swore I wouldn't tell, right?
Yeah, so you never know. You never know. But going on the honor system, let's say he did write this. He did a good job.
And if not, damn, Drake, your ghostwriter's going off. Shout out to who?
Quentin Miller. He was one of the dudes who turned out to be a Drake ghostwriter back in the day, and the whole thing happened when he was beefing with Meek Mill. He also addresses that in the song. But anyway, yeah, my favorite songs for Drake this year are 7 a.m. on Bridle Path, Pipe Down, and You Only Live Twice.
All right.
I never thought he'd be on this list, but the dude can rap.
He's a good rapper, man. He's a good rapper.
Yeah, who's your number 10?
It's the same energy I put out last time. I was like, listen, I'm as surprised and ashamed as you are.
I didn't think it would be the same energy. I didn't know Dallas had that energy in him, but apparently he does, and that's what just happened.
Yeah, I didn't I didn't straight up insult him like Gabby did, but I am surprised.
Gabby, what's your number 10, buddy?
Okay, my number 10 is Doja Cat.
Hey,
Doja Cat put out 2 albums this year. 2 of them. Count them. 1, 2. She put out Hot Pink and Planet Her. My favorite is Planet Her. I want to just highlight Juicy from Hot Pink because that song's great. And then the songs that I love from Planet Her are Woman, Get Into It, and Ain't Shit.
Okay.
All of those are just bangers, man. They're just fun songs. Who doesn't enjoy singing to Doja Cat?
Which one was the really popular TikTok sound?
Say So.
It was Streets. Or no, was it Say So? I thought it was Streets.
It was Say So and Streets.
Streets is the one I'm thinking of. That's the one I really, really like. I really like Streets. And it's wild to me. I used to know Doja Cat when she was like 13.
Damn.
She wasn't Doja Cat back then. She was just Amala. Yeah, that's crazy to me. When my cousin told me that that's who Doja Cat was, I was like, no way. Really? And then I saw her and I was like, that is her. No, oh my God.
So, yeah. Demi, question for you.
Yeah.
Did you and Doja Cat, you had mutual acquaintances, I'm guessing, at that time?
At the time, we had her as a backup dancer for my cousin.
Okay. And you're still in contact with your cousin?
Yeah, I'm still in contact with my cousin. And I
Got it.
didn't, like, hang out with her. I don't want anybody to think that, like, we were friends or anything like that. Like, I knew
Right.
her through this, more of a business type of thing, and I used to film behind the scenes stuff.
Okay.
She only did a couple of performances with us at the time.
So my follow-up question is, did you and your cousin have any discussion when she was, quote, "in a racial chat room showing feet"?
I don't think we've ever discussed that. I think that came out after.
Dallas.
I couldn't not bring it up. It's one of the funniest things in the world to me. Okay, so Gabby, I don't mean to like. Did you have more? Because I want to wait until you're finished.
I'm just gonna be done.
Okay.
Go off.
So the reason I brought that up in quotes is because this rapper named Nori, and he has a podcast. He's very famous. When that whole thing came out, he just went on Twitter and just said, "She in racial chat room showing feet," and it was one of the funniest tweets I've ever seen. It came flooding back to my mind because last year, you guys remember Rachel Dolezal?
Yes.
When she decided she was going to make an OnlyFans?
Oh, yes.
Yes, and one of the things she was advertising was feet pictures. And all I could think in my head was, she in transracial chat room showing feet. I had to bring it up, and it's Rachel's fault.
Dallas.
That is such a we made such a leap just now.
I couldn't not say
It's Twitter's fault.
It's Twitter's fault.
But Doja Cat's dope. I listened to a lot more of her music this year in the writer's room because we one day I think we just went through like a number of Doja Cat songs along with a bunch of other artists. That's just what we do in the writer's room when we're filming. So
Yeah.
it's fun.
Also, she was on Dave this year, and that was cool.
Wow, was she?
Yeah, she was
Like as herself.
She was playing herself. She was a potential love interest, but Dave screws it up as he does everything.
Aw, boo.
Yeah.
Her music is fire. She's a really good rapper.
Yeah.
All right.
Woman, I love that song.
All right. So my number 10 is Travis Garland, who is a singer I don't get to talk about often. He's literally one of my favorite singers of all time. Such a fantastic vocalist. He is, as we call him, an indie legend. He used to be in a boy band called NLT, and I used to love that band when I was in high school. But he's been doing solo stuff ever since. I've been listening to him since high school. So, like, for the last 12 years, for more than a decade, I've been listening to Travis Garland. This year, he released a song called Promised Land, and I kept it on my list because I listened to Promised Land nonstop, and it came out earlier this year. And also, his voice is just so good, and he's such a phenomenal vocalist. Oh my gosh. For years, he's been doing covers and mashups on YouTube, and they're really, really popular. For a long time, he didn't have them on streaming services, and I think this year was the first time he released an entire album of mashups and another album of covers that he put up on like Spotify and Apple Music. And I love his stuff so much. Sometimes I like his covers more than the originals. Sometimes I like his mashups more than the originals. He's so good, so talented, and I just wanted to make sure he was on this list because I never get to talk about him to almost anybody.
Right.
And I really wanted to put his name out there because he's super dope. So my number 10 is Travis Garland.
Nice. All right.
The indie legend. Number 9.
My number 9 is Nas, primarily for his album King's Disease 2, but also he was featured on the soundtrack for Judas and the Black Messiah, and he was on DMX's album Exodus. Rest in peace, DMX. We miss you. Nas is like the Leo DiCaprio of hip hop, and I'm not saying that he dates women young enough to be his daughter.
Thank you.
I am saying, thank you, that he's one of the best at what he does, but it took forever for him to be recognized with awards. In 2020, he had received 13 nominations for Grammys in his career. He finally got Best Rap Album on his 12th studio album, King's Disease.
That's so many albums.
Right. Ask anyone who listens to hip hop. Nas is that dude. And he has been since like 96 when freaking Illmatic came out. But it took up until 2020 for him to actually get a Grammy for Best Rap Album.
That's BS.
Right.
How did Macklemore win first? Sorry.
No
disrespect.
But...
No disrespect to Macklemore.
It's really funny because I actually really like the Macklemore album that won, but
me too.
Like,
I love
come on, bro.
Good like
Kid, Mad City?
Nas.
Right.
That's like, how do I put it? That's like not giving Shakespeare like an award. You know what I mean?
Right. Whatever awards they had back then.
Yeah.
I'm sure they had some.
Yeah.
Whatever.
He wasn't winning Tonys, but he was winning whatever it was back then.
No, yeah, but like what I mean is like not. I mean, it's Nas.
Yes, it is Nas. But,
It's true. As somebody who doesn't listen to a lot of hip hop, even I know that Nas is one of the best rappers that has ever existed.
right, and one of the things that is arguably a weakness of his that I don't fully agree with is that people say he has bad beat selection. But on his new album, King's Disease 2, he teamed up with Hit Boy, and Hit Boy is a very prominent producer who's actually from Inland Empire, so shout out to California.
Woo.
And nobody has reason to make those claims this time because these beats are fire. The album is fire, the beats are fire, the rapping is fire because it's Nas. And also, this man got features from Eminem, Miss Lauryn Hill, and Charlie Wilson on this album. So how could I
Lauryn
leave him
Hill.
off the list?
Damn.
Right. It's fantastic. So yeah, that's Nas. My favorite songs of his this year are EPMD 2, Nobody featuring Miss Lauryn Hill, and Rare. That's my number 9.
Gabby, what's your number 9?
My number 9 is Willow and Tyler Cole for their live version of the song Meet Me at Our Spot because, oh my God, have you guys heard this song? It's like a
No.
Riot Girl amazingness. It goes, caught a vibe.
Oh
Baby,
yeah,
are you
everybody's
coming
heard
for
that
the
song.
ride?
Dallas, you've never heard that?
I don't know.
I
Okay, it
think
goes,
Dallas, I feel like you've at
you've
least
heard it.
heard that
Here,
one bit of the song.
I'm
Okay.
gonna play it really quick because it's magical.
Is this Willow Smith? Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah.
I've heard at least that part of that song before.
Yes.
Yes,
The whole
exactly. I've
song.
also only heard that part of the song.
The
I've
whole
definitely
song
heard
is
that.
magical, y'all.
Like when she said Willow, I was like, I know what song she's talking about, and then she said the name of the song, and I was like, is that the name of the song?
Yeah, because they're gonna meet me.
I thought it was
at
called
our
"Caught a Vibe." I'm not
spot.
gonna lie.
Right.
Caught a vibe. Baby, are you coming for the ride? Oh my God, it's amazing. I fucking love that song. Apparently, I've heard a lot of Willow Smith's music, like her newer stuff,
Okay.
because I'm into that whole vibe. Like, I love me some good
You caught a
old-
vibe.
Yeah, I caught. She fully caught me in that vibe. I don't know, man. It fucking relatable AF, and I love it. But she's very like she's got this really neat, like sort of Riot Girl style, like acoustic, and just like not whining, but like almost crying into the mic, and I love it. It's so good. And I could only put her on my list because they re-released that song. That song's from 2020 or 2019, but they re-released a live version of it. And so I could put it on the list because like, yes, it's this year. And it's just so good. And she actually released this whole album called The Anxiety with Tyler Cole. It's really good. I highly recommend. But that album's from last year, so I can't really comment on it. I can only comment on this song, but love it. Love her. Love Tyler Cole. Love the vibe.
All right, dope. My number 9 is Dawn Richard, who wasn't on my list last year, but she was on my list the year before. She released an album this year called Second Line, and the standouts on that album for me are Pressure, Voodoo Intermission, and Selfish Outro. Dawn Richard is just such a diverse artist, I guess you could say. I really mostly like her R&B stuff that she used to do, but nowadays she's really made a space for herself in electronic dance music, I guess.
Okay.
And there aren't a lot of black people, let alone black women in that genre, so that's really dope. Also, this album has a song on it called Bust It For Me. So,
right.
you gotta check that out.
Gotta appreciate that.
Yeah, Dawn is super talented and just in multiple ways. She's a great singer, she's a great songwriter. Her music always has a very interesting sound to it. And then on top of that, her music videos are always so very creative. And a lot of that I think comes from the fact that she used to be an artist as well. So she was drawing a comic book for a while, which is how Danity Kane got their name. It was the name of the superhero comic that she was making at the time.
Nice.
Because she's a former member of Danity. Actually, current member, I guess you could say, of Danity Kane, because Danity Kane goes in and out depending on how they're feeling. I kind of like their band's current vibe where it's kind of like whoever's available and wants to work on something together can work on something and release it. And it's
Interesting.
kind of dope. And then you can just make your solo stuff on the side as well. That can be your main thing, but you can also release something with Danity Kane, and that's still super cool.
Right.
But yeah, like I said, this year she released Second Line, or last year she released Second Line, and it's a really good album. All of her stuff is usually really, really good. She's also an incredible dancer, so when you watch her music videos, her dancing is legit. When I tell you that she did footwork in stilettos one time, and I
Oh,
was
yep.
like, I don't, what, how? Because for sure I thought she might break her neck if she fell or anything like that. It's ridiculous. She's such a good dancer, and I think she used to do ballet as a kid because I think her mom had a dance studio. Dawn Richard, repping for New Orleans, repping for black people everywhere. She has a deal that she does with Adult Swim, as a matter of fact, too. So
Nice.
it's really dope.
They have some dope music on Adult Swim.
Yeah, she's a really cool person, and she's also just a really, really dope artist. So check out Dawn Richard. She's my number 9.
I was gonna ask if she was from New Orleans because second line, that's like when you hire a second line, you're hiring a band to come up
Oh
behind you.
yeah, yeah. She's
On
from New Orleans. Yeah,
Okay.
her last album, which was on my 2019 list, was very much about New Orleans. She
Nice,
reps
nice.
her city real hard.
Oh yeah, she should.
Dallas, number 8.
Number 8. My number 8 is Corday. He is a rapper. He's super dope. So here's the thing about my list. Some of these are just going to fall under the category of I don't have a whole lot to say about this person other than they rap extremely well.
Cool.
Yeah. He's mostly there he put out an EP called Just Until because he's supposed to put out an album that apparently is not coming out until, I guess, this year since we're releasing this in 2022. I thought the album was coming out in 2021. It didn't. Very upset, very hurt, but he gave us a 4-pack to hold us over. He also made a song called Taxes for that thing on Netflix called We the People. And it was like a musical, educational. I didn't watch it, but they had a bunch of music artists basically teaching with music. The thing that we always talk about is, hey, how come nobody taught us about taxes in high school and we were learning about friggin' mitochondria? So I think it's great
and math that we don't use.
Exactly. So I think it's great now that you take something that kids will probably want to listen to because not only is he a prominent rapper, but Corday is younger than we are. So he's more accessible to the younger generation who should be learning about stuff like taxes and whatever the hell else is being taught in We the People.
Please, kids, learn about taxes.
Right, because they didn't teach us, and man.
And
it's hard.
That's what home economics was for.
We didn't have home ec?
No, I know. They got rid of it.
Yeah,
but that's what home ec was. It was like teaching you like how to cook, how to
It was teaching you household stuff, and they didn't want us to know none of it.
Yep.
Right.
And they were like, you know what? That's a liability now.
Again, we're not going to teach you that. I was in film history watching Seven Samurai, which is fun, but
I mean, that was a choice that I would have made personally as an elective. Home ec should have just been a necessity.
Yep.
Exactly. Like I love Kurosawa was dope, but I can do that in college. I need to know how to do my taxes.
Yep.
But
TurboTax can't help
dope.
me.
Oh, TurboTax be helping me every year.
Oh yeah. Shout out TurboTax. I'd be struggling. Anyway, back to music. Corday is dope. He's a really cool, like laid back personality. He is, as far as I know, still currently dating Naomi Osaka, which I think is fantastic because I love Naomi Osaka.
It's funny. You said his name and his face came into my head and I didn't know why until you just said Naomi Osaka. Because I've seen some of her tennis matches and I've seen him there at those tennis matches. And I'm like, oh yeah, that dude.
Yeah, the dude will be at the tennis matches. But yeah, my favorite songs for him this year are Dream in Color, More Life, and the remix to Killer by Eminem featuring Jack Harlow, because that song is fire.
Jack Harlow.
Yeah, he's dope. But yeah.
He's going to come up later. Anyway.
Oh, he is?
Gabby, who's your number 8?
My number 8 is Billie Eilish.
Hey, I figured we get to talk about her.
Yeah, she was on both of our honorable mentions list for me and Dallas.
Yes.
Because we vibe.
She mostly made the list for the song Happier Than Ever. If that song had come out when I was 17, my poor family would have not heard anything else. It was extremely relatable, particularly for when I was 17. But I also love from that album the song NDA. It's so much fun. It's great, like braggy kind of song. That's about it. Those are the 2 songs that I like love super hard from that album. But it really is Happier Than Ever. Like I can't express how much I relate to that song.
Yeah.
So
I just like her vibe.
Yeah. She's very interesting. And Gabby didn't hit on the one song that was going to put her on the list for me. I did like the album as a whole. I'm going to say that now. But one song got stuck in my head in a way that concerns me. The song's called Oxytocin.
I knew it was going to be that one.
And I have so many feelings listening to Oxytocin, and they unsettle me. I don't know how to describe it, so I won't. Just know Oxytocin is a very dope song, and it is... That's fine. That's fine.
That's fine. Okay.
It's just so much. It's just so much.
And also, like, she's only just now like 19, 20, and you're like...
Right. And it bothers me because why can't you wait until you're like 24 to make this song? And not even just the lyric, but the way she's singing. The way that she's like those...
It's like wispy and
those high notes. I don't like it. I like it, but I don't like it.
Yeah, you're like, I'm 10 years older than you,
Billy, you're too young to make me feel this weird with a song. I don't like it.
Wow.
I don't like it.
It's fun to see you like this, Jealous.
Yeah. I don't want to feel like freaking Drake. Moving on.
Okay,
See,
so nope, no. I was saying that I really like Billie Eilish's vibe. I really like that album. And also, I think the same day that I listened to that album was the first time that I ever listened to her first album.
Mm.
And just, yeah, her vibe is totally cool. I saw an interview with her before I ever listened to her music. And from that moment on, I was just like, you just seem like a dope human being, to be honest. Like, for someone so young, you just seem so cool, dude.
I think it's also because she's from Highland Park, so she's
She
like
is.
Yeah, she
right
is.
next door.
She's from near us, so
Yeah.
we all kind of vibe on a similar wavelength. And I just love the partnership between her and her brother Phineas. They're both so talented,
Yeah.
and they just make great music, and they make great music together. Does that mean it's my turn for number 8?
Yes, let's stop talking about Billie Eilish.
This is hilarious.
All right. My number 8 is someone I thought who was going to be higher on my list this year, but then she didn't release her album. It's Camila Cabello.
Mm.
She released 2 singles this year,
Okay.
and as well as the soundtrack for Cinderella, which
Oh,
she
yeah.
wrote a song for as well, and obviously sang on because she was the lead character in Cinderella. Yeah, I love Camila Cabello. Camila Cabello is one of my favorite current artists. I love her singing voice. I love her tone. I love the notes that she can hit. And I love her riffs. I love a vocal acrobatist. What can I say? They're my favorites. So yeah, my standouts for her this year are Million to One, which is on the Cinderella soundtrack, and the 2 singles that she released, Don't Go Yet and Ona Na.
Mm.
Ona Na is almost completely in Spanish. There is one verse in English. I don't understand any of it. And I'm still like, yeah, this is a vibe. I like this. This is dope. Somebody had to translate the song for me. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's great. I've been having a lot of fun. Next year, you're gonna hear me talk a lot about songs that I don't understand because Christina Aguilera is releasing a Spanish EP, and supposedly Camila Cabello will finally release her album Familia, which I'm assuming will have more Spanish on it than ever has been on her previous 2 albums. So I'm looking forward to that. I also really liked her rendition of You Gotta Be that she did for the Rhythm Nation You Gotta Be mashup on the Cinderella soundtrack. I thought that was really good. I just like the arrangement on that song in general. And I just remember hearing it wasn't like a leak of the song. It was somebody was on set and somebody leaked the on-set audio. So it wasn't even like the clearest audio, but you could hear the music playing because obviously it's playing really loud for the scene for them to do dancing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I just remember it was the crescendo of the song. And I remember playing that like 8 seconds over and over and over again because I liked her vocals just over that one part. And it's still one of my favorite parts of that song. Also, her version of Perfect with Nicholas Galitzine from the movie, great. Yeah, my standouts this year are definitely Don't Go Yet, Million to One, and Oh Na Na. So
Nice.
check those out. Camila Cabello's awesome. I'll probably talk about her more next year. Number 7, guys.
Number 7. My number 7 is Marlon Craft. He is a rapper from New York. This is primarily, he put out 2 projects. He put out How We Intended, an album, and an EP called Space. He also put out like 100 singles. I don't know why he put out so many songs this year. He's also under the category of I don't have a lot to say about you, but you rap super well. And I'm always down to support a white boy who calls out white people on their nonsense.
Ooh.
It's my favorite genre of white person.
Yes.
Shout out Mason. So,
Does he?
Of course.
Good to know.
So, speaking of that, he has a line in the song, I think it's Hoodie Weather, where he says, "This is for a journalist whose worth is self-inflated, who write about the real but they living in the matrix, who type in how they feel but would never ever say it, who never step foot in the hood whose cultures pay them." And I love that so much because it's such a lame thing to do to make money off of a culture and a people and a way of life. But you keep a safe distance, so you don't really need to experience that, but you can exploit it for gain. And so many journalists do that. And I hate it. And I'm so glad he called them out. It's funny if you hear this dude, like, oh yeah, that's a black dude from New York. But then you see him and it's like, oh, he's very white.
Oh, I love
And
those.
watching his music videos, they're like, your voice, how did you get this voice? Did you trade with someone? Because your face and your voice, they don't match.
It's like Bobby Caldwell.
You have a different, like,
Not Bobby Caldwell. Bobby Caldwell.
Not Uncle Bobby. Bobby Caldwell.
Bobby Caldwell.
You
He'll
go
fix
down
that
to
up for
Bobby
you.
Caldwell.
You want to get you some ties, you go to Uncle Caldwell. Anyway. Yes, the Bobby Caldwell of rap. Also, he has a song called Loyal with Katori Walker. Gabby, do you know Katori?
I don't know.
He went to high school with us, I think. He's a rapper from
What?
Pasadena. Yeah. I don't know him personally, but I'm pretty sure he went to PHS and graduated like a year before we did. So shout out to Pasadena and shout out to that song, Loyal.
Oh, I
We
don't
do
know
love
him.
to shout out our own city.
I
We
do not
love
know him, but I'm gonna start supporting him.
it. But yeah, shout out to Marlon Craft. My favorite songs of his this year are Get Off My Yard, Hoodie Weather, and Cheap Date.
Get off my yard. I love
I
that.
love it. He's in the music video, he's dressed as an old man.
Yes.
It's hilarious. But anyway, that's my number 7.
My number 7, again with the top 40. I would apologize, but I'm not sorry. Is Olivia Rodrigo.
Skip.
Oh,
Hey, we got to skip.
Damn. Okay.
Skip.
All right, skip.
So much skip.
Yes.
And
okay.
now I have to finish my snack before I can say.
I'm so sorry. Take a break.
Okay. No, it's cool. I got
Wasn't
it.
ready.
I got it. So my number 7 is Demi Lovato.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, for their album Dancing with the Devil, The Art of Starting Over.
Oh my God, I forgot that was this year.
It was this year. I listened to it the same night that I listened to Taylor Swift's re-release of Fearless. It's a fantastic album, and it's a very deep album. I know that Demi's been kind of going off the rails recently with the conspiracy theories and the aliens and stuff like that.
I mean, aliens are real. The government did release that, but go on. The UFO videos.
Okay, so, yeah. They released a new album, and it's very much about their recovery, their most recent recovery. I think they had relapsed for like a second time. It was a very public relapse. And the album kind of goes through, like, it's almost like it's 2 halves of an album, or actually more like 1/3 and 2/3 of an album, because the first third of the album is very much them talking about relapsing, like the darkness that goes, like Dancing with the Devil.
Right.
It's them dancing with the devil again and going back on drugs and not being able to stay sober. And then the last 2/3 of the album, it's a very long album too. The last 2/3 of the album are about the recovery part of that, which is the art of starting over.
Mhm.
And it's a really great album. It's really touching. You can really feel their heart in this album. I've been a Demi Lovato fan since Camp Rock, but I've bought almost every album that they've ever made. I went to see them live in concert after the first time they recovered. I just think that they're such a talented artist. My standouts from that album are Dancing with the Devil, The Way You Don't Look at Me, and Met Him Last Night, which features Ariana Grande. I love that song, and I thought we were getting a music video for it, and I don't think we ever did. I'm very sad about it because, oh my gosh, that song is so catchy. And the vibes are lit. I love it. But yeah, Demi Lovato is my number 7. So let's move on to our number 6.
Number 6. All right, my number 6, we're going back into older rappers from New York. My number 6 is Jay-Z.
Yo!
Hey.
Which is interesting because to my knowledge, he did not put out an album this year.
No, I think he just did a lot of features, didn't he?
He did so many.
Hella
Every
features.
time I was listening to an album, Jay-Z would be there every freaking time since January, February, whenever Judas and the Black Messiah came out, because he's on the song What It Feels Like with Nipsey Hussle. He produced the movie Harder They Fall, so he's on 2 songs on that soundtrack, Guns Go Bang and King Kong Rhythm.
I've been listening to Guns Go Bang so often recently.
Same.
It's on my playlist.
I've also been listening to the other song he did with Jadakiss, Conway the Machine, and Back Row G. It's the song that plays when they get on the train, but only the instrumental plays in the movie. He's on Kanye's album. He's on Drake's album. He's on DMX's album. He's on DJ Khaled's album. This dude was everywhere.
Jay-Z said, I don't ever need to release another album again. I'm just going to show up on other people's songs.
Right. Y'all gonna put me on your album because, of course. But also, that's one thing I did like about the marketing for Certified Lover Boy is that Drake got a bunch of billboards in different cities for the rappers from those cities.
Oh,
Like
damn.
Houston, insert Houston rapper here is on Certified Lover Boy. Freaking Atlanta, Lil Baby's on Certified Lover Boy. And then he put New York, the GOAT is on Certified Lover Boy.
And it's Jay-Z.
Yeah. So
Well, they know.
that's fantastic marketing. But yeah, Jay-Z has been rapping very well for a very long time. Dude is old, but he's still killing it.
Like almost 30 years.
Right. Yeah, my favorite song that he did this year is probably What It Feels Like with Nipsey Hussle. And the way he comes on that song, because it's for Judas and the Black Messiah. So, you got to say something impactful. And he does. So he says, they hate when you become more than they expect. You let them crack your store in your capital, put their feet up on your desk. And yet you talking tough to me, I lost all my little respect. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, he's on the list. Jay-Z he's going to be Jay-Z. He's doing what he does. My favorite songs from him this year are What It Feels Like, Guns Go Bang, and King Kong Rhythm. That's my number 6.
Gabby, what you got for us?
My number 6 is Ariana Grande for the album Position.
Was that this year?
Yes, it was.
Wait,
I
question.
made sure.
I don't know Ariana Grande very well, but is there a song about 69 and coming out?
Yes, it is,
Yes,
and
Okay.
that's one of my
it
favorite
is.
songs on the album, 3435. Other favorites was Positions and POV and Motive. Love those songs.
What is POV about?
That's the one that goes, for all of my pretty and all of my ugly too. I love to see me from your point of view.
Okay.
And that was my favorite song on the album. Other than 3435, they're kind of tied. And because 3435 is silly and hilarious. Ridiculous. And I just love it so much. It just comes on and it brightens my day because I'm like, this is a silly ass song. It's also nasty and I love it.
It's funny you say that
Sounds about right.
because, Gabby, you remember when I was, let's say,
Obsessed with Ariana
infatuated.
Grande?
Let's say
Oh, with
infatuated
Ariana Grande?
with
Yes,
Ariana
I
Grande.
remember. She
And I
did
was
not look
thinking,
like how she looks now.
no.
No.
But when this song came out, I was thinking, if my interest in Ariana Grande lined up with the release of this song, I don't know what would have happened to me.
I remember, for those that don't know, Dallas would post. So he had, this is back on Tumblr
The Tumblr
days.
days, yeah.
This was like 2012 on Tumblr. Ariana was still on that show, Victorious.
It's funny because I didn't watch it. I've never
No,
seen
I
anything
know
she's
you
been in.
didn't watch it. You just knew she was some girl with like red hair dyed on some
Yeah.
show. Every time I would scroll on Tumblr and I'd see her, I'd be like, that's Dallas. And I'd look over and it was you.
It was. I was like, I don't know who this is, but I'm curious.
Oh, that's a great song though. It's great. And then like there's just like the heartfelt, sweet love song that is POV. This is a good ass album. It's fun. It's silly. It's horny AF.
Which is also fun.
Yeah. And like when you think of like just kind of the general sadness that she's gone through the last few years, I'm happy she's able to put out something so just joyful and horny because you know how I'm thirsty AF. So now I have some songs to go with it.
It's true. It's a vibe.
It's a total vibe. That's how I feel. Thank you.
All right.
All right, cool. My number 6 is Cassidy Pope for her album Thrive. I think she was on my list last year. She's also one of the few country artists I listen to consistently. But also, I was very happy about this album because it wasn't just her doing country. It was also her somewhat going back to her kind of punk pop roots from back when she was in like Hey Monday and some of the solo stuff that she did after Hey Monday, pre her being on The Voice. Yeah, I love her music so much. I love her songwriting. I just am into her voice and the music that I don't know, there's like something about the guitar that the way that she plays or like the way that it's played in her music that I just really, really like for some reason. It always stands out to me. I feel like I really gotta shout her out. And I think his name is either Stephen James or Stephen James. I don't know. They have a song on the album called Mind Your Own where on his verse, they call out white people who can't bring themselves to say that Black Lives Matter.
Interesting.
The entire chorus is about how if you were happy, you would mind your own business. You would stop being so hateful and you would let people love who they love and let their colors shine through and like just let everybody be who they are because it has absolutely nothing to do with you. And so I love that. I appreciate y'all for that. But my standouts from the album are What the Stars See, Tomorrow Night, and Break 2. I love Break 2 because I think it's just a really interesting breakup song because it starts off like the conversation that you have with people when like you end a relationship and like people are like, oh, who ended it? Like who said what and how did it happen? And the song is about it really doesn't matter who did either of those things because we're both hurt at the end of the day. One of us broke it off and that person's hurt just as much as the person who got broken up with. Like in the first verse, she goes, like it matters how it went down, who stayed, who walked out, like a goodbye could even pick sides.
All right.
I was like, that hits because, yeah, that's a good point. Like, it doesn't matter who said goodbye. In the end, it hurts all the same. Even if they're the ones who made you cry, they're also hurting because you both are going through a change that you guys probably weren't prepared to happen.
Yeah.
I really like that song. That's definitely one of my standouts. I listen to it a lot. It's on one of my playlists. So yeah, Cassidy Pope is my number 6 for Thrive.
I have a question.
Yeah.
You're not talking about the Stephen James from If Bill Street Could Talk, right?
No, this is like a white dude from Third Eye Blind.
Okay. I was like, I know that name, but I didn't know that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Two of them.
I got his name wrong. It's Stephen Jenkins.
Oh, wait, hold on. There are 2 people named Stephen James because I looked it up and there is a white musical artist named Stephen James, but he's also not the guy you're talking about?
No, he's not. It's Stephen Jenkins, who is a
Oh.
57-year-old white man.
Okay.
Continue to call out your fellow peers.
As you should.
As you should. Top 5, guys.
Top 5.
Top
Woo!
5.
We did it.
Yeah. Dallas.
All right, my top 5. My number 5 is Denzel Curry, the first repeat from last year. He was number 4 on my list last year
Wow.
for his album Unlocked. And this year he put out an album with Kenny Beats called Unlocked 1.5. I'm actually not sure if Kenny Beats is involved because last year they put out a project, like I said, called Unlocked with also a pretty dope musical short film. This year it's all those songs but with a new producer on each track. So the beats are different with the exception I think one song, and they have feature verses that are pretty dope. Joey Badass, Samino, Benny the Butcher, Kenny Mason. So it was really cool to hear Denzel's verses again, but on new production with new people. It was like a nice little.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's like a re-release, but better because it's not the same song. It's a different version, which is why 1.5 is a great name for it. It's funny because ironically, I think pretty much every case, I prefer the original beat because Kenny Beats is really good at that. It was still nice to hear these versions with the features and everything. So my favorite songs are Cosmic, the Alchemist version, Diet 1.5, and Bruh, the remix, which is a song he did with JID, which is not on this album, but it's fantastic. And I listened to it 1,000 times last year. So yeah, that's my number 5.
Woo!
Gabby, what's your number 5?
Yes, my number 5 is Adele.
Hey!
Because she put out, I think it was like the second or third divorce album that I had listened to that year.
All right.
I was like, yes, let's go.
All right, people. Everybody out here talking about their divorces.
So many feelings. I can't think of the third divorce album, but I'm going to talk about the first divorce album I got really into this year in a minute. I mean, it was highly anticipated. Her album 30, again, it talked about her divorce. She explicitly said it's about divorce.
All right.
And I mean, nobody does heartbreak like Adele. I'm sad she got divorced, but it's a good ass album.
Also, if it makes you feel better, she's currently in a happy relationship with Rich Paul.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
She
cool.
Hey,
Ooh,
which
so
was an unexpected relationship, but continue.
Yeah, I didn't see
I
that
know, but
coming
an
at all.
upgrade question mark? Yes.
I feel like seeing that she divorced the last man, anything might be an upgrade.
Yeah.
If she's happy, it's an upgrade.
Yeah, I'm
Sure.
happy for
Happiness
her.
is an upgrade.
And then the songs I want to talk about are there's one song on this album that straight up broke me, and it's My Little Love. It's the third song on the album, and it's literally about her basically explaining to her son why she's getting divorced. It's so sad.
I can
It's
imagine.
so good. And she has like a breakdown in the middle of it. Oh my God, it's just a good ass song. And it hurts. I was like, oh no, if this is how this album's gonna be, am I gonna be able to hold it together? Oh my God, I just remembered it's not a divorce album, it's a breakup album, but that's the point. The point is
Okay.
All the breakup albums.
so many this year. And thank you, because I'm a melancholy person, so it's kind of shit.
I just think it's so funny because Gabby definitely has not gone through a breakup this year
no.
at all. She's in a very happy, stable
Healthy
relationship.
But
That
I
is very
like
funny.
sad music.
Yeah. You like what you like.
I like sad music. I'm
Shout out to her
generally
boyfriend Eric.
yeah, he's great. I think it's since I'm like finally getting out of a depression that I'm like, no, I think I just like sad music. But I was definitely just deeply depressed for the last few years, and so most of the music I listen to is sad anyway.
It's okay, Gabby.
But
You're
that
emo.
one's
Just
great.
accept it.
Yeah, just a little bit, just without the emo music playing.
This is emo
just
music.
different
I
kind of
don't know
emo
what you're
music.
talking about.
Different kind of, yeah, different
Such
flavor of emo.
just not the genre emo, but yes, emo. Anyway, it's a really good album. So many feelings. God, I love Adele. Love her beautiful, sultry ass voice, full of emotion and heart. And I really dug this album. Thank you, Adele.
My favorite thing that Adele gave us this year was the TikTok thing that's going around where people auditioning to be her backup dancers and they put Megan Thee Stallion behind her and it matched. Amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. It's the best thing
Yeah.
that Adele gave me this year, and I appreciate her for it.
Me too.
Oh,
It was amazing. They're like, why doesn't Adele ever have backup dancers?
It's amazing. That video is amazing. I could watch it over and over and over again, and it would never get old.
It's truly magical.
It's
I
a
love her.
magical experience. All right, my number 5 is Lil Nas X for his album Montero.
Skip.
Oh, that's actually a surprise
Oh, we
to
got a
me. All right,
skip.
we did get a skip. Number 4, guys.
My number 4 is the other repeat of my list from last year. Is Ilmac. He was number 3. Now he's number 4. It's funny how these things work out. Last year, he put out 2 albums, Spring and Summer. This year, he put out Autumn. So, he's doing that.
Relatable. I can't wait till winter.
Right? I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, dude just raps really well. He was, I'll say was because he hasn't done it in a while, a battle rapper, and he was my favorite one, aside from
Ooh.
Dumbfounded.
Were these like the battle rappers that are rapping with no music? And I'm like, is this a performance art piece? But no, it's battle rap.
I mean, there is no music, so yes to that. Probably.
Without like a beat in the background.
Yeah, it's acapella. There's no beat.
Okay.
Gabby, I have a question for you.
See.
I was with someone recently. I think it might have been you, but we were talking about Dewey Cox, and you don't want no part of this?
Yes, you don't want no part of this.
Okay, I'm so glad that was you. Because there's a song he has called Till It's Over. And it's with a dude named Only One. And they're like a really good duo. They always bring the best out of each other when they're rapping. And on that song, Ilmax says, they think they want it till they get it and realize that wasn't it. The last thing you do won't even cross it off the bucket list. Dewey Cox drummer, I'm saying you don't want none of this.
You don't want no part of this, Dewey.
And then the best thing is that he says that the beat cuts out and he puts in a clip from the movie, says, no, Dewey, you don't want this. Get out of here. And then he keeps rapping.
Oh my God.
And
we need to be friends with him because literally only our friend group quotes that movie. I can't say that anywhere else. No one will get it.
It's one of those lines that as soon as you said it, I was like, that's so dope. But the fact that he inserted the clip from the movie made it so much better. Dewey Cox drama. I'm saying you don't want none of this. No, Dewey, you don't want this. Get out of here. And then immediately goes back to flowing. It's so dope.
Send me that song. I need that song in my life.
I'm going to send it to you. But yeah.
Because literally, and you know who quoted it this year too? This I knew he was back. Mason did.
Oh.
We were at his house too. He quoted it and I was like, he's back. The group's back.
Yeah. We be vibing. We on a wavelength.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ilmac is just a really, really dope rapper. He constantly proves it. So I don't know when Winter's coming out, but I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, it's already 2022, so it'll probably be on the list this year as well. But yeah, that's my number, 4? Number 4.
Yay.
Oh, wait, sorry. I didn't do my favorite song. Till It's Over, the song I just told you about. Hoodie Season and Corporate Ladder.
Yay. Okay, my number 4 is the one, the only Taylor Swift.
T-Swizzle.
Specifically for the Red re-release because that album got me through also a breakup with an older dude.
Red is like one of my top 3 favorite Taylor Swift albums. So I was super stoked that she was re-releasing that one so soon. But also Fearless is another great Taylor Swift album. Yes. There were some songs on Fearless that I was like, oh my gosh, we're about to get re-released. Mature, modern, like voice has developed more versions of Fearless songs that I absolutely needed.
Yeah. Specifically the 10-minute All Too Well was
that's from Red.
Extremely relatable. Yes, that one's from Red.
Also, the music video, the 10-minute short film that she directed for All Too Well, starring Sadie Sink and Dylan O'Brien. It's the only time ever in life that I have hated Dylan O'Brien.
Me too. I'm glad that my friend gave me a trigger warning for that because she's like, you've dated older guys, just be careful. And I needed a break.
All of my friends who have dated older guys have like been triggered by that music video.
Okay,
and I'm like,
okay. Here's the deal. Here's what it is you think, no offense to men, especially you, Dallas, that's here because you're a good person.
Oh, thank you.
You're a great man. And no offense to my boyfriend because he's also a good man.
We know a lot of good men, luckily for us.
We do. And Colin too. No offense to you. So I think the trap that you get into when you're like in your early 20s, late teens, and you start dating somebody like 4 years, 5 years, 6 years and above older than you is that you think that this man is going to be emotionally competent because they're older. And then it turns out that they're not. And then they can't get over that you're that much younger than them. It's a clusterfuck.
I just want to disclaim and say this isn't relatable to my life at all. I've just heard about this from other people, and I'm here to support them.
Yeah. But I think that's what it is. It's just like emotionally immature older guys, and you feel betrayed a little bit during the relationship, and then they break up with you, and you're like, what the hell did I do? And it's horrible. It's painful. And like the worst part about this is I've shown this music video to other men, like older-ish men. And they defend Dylan O'Brien, and I'm like, I can't. We need to stop talking because they're like, but he was with his friends, and I'm like, excuse me,
no, that's not an
he
excuse.
dropped her hand. They're like, she's being really dramatic, and I'm like, but she's not. She's just pointing out that he was disrespectful, and instead of apologizing and actually meaning it, he's like, but he apologized, and I was like, he apologized to shut her up. He didn't mean it.
That's a whole mess. But going back to the albums in general that she released, I also want to mention that I loved Mr. Perfectly Fine.
Yes,
that
about
song is a bop.
Did you see?
Yes, I did see Sophie Turner, aka Joe Jonas's wife's reaction to it. Like, it's a bop.
She's like, it's not a bop.
Exactly. She's absolutely correct. Even though it's about her husband, she knows.
She's like, "I know who I married."
She knows she got the better version of him.
Yep, she
But
did.
that song is absolutely a bop, and it's I love that song. When I first heard it, I was like, "This is so catchy, and I can't believe this wasn't on the original album. I can't believe
Yes.
you've been holding out on us for this long." Such a good album.
Yes.
And then, like I said, Red is already one of my top 3 Taylor Swift albums. Just getting to hear State of Grace again,
Yes.
Red, Treacherous. Oh my gosh, Treacherous has always been one of my favorite songs on that album. I Knew You Were Trouble, relatable.
Dude, you know which one I really liked? It was Stay, Stay, Stay.
Oh, a lot of people like Stay, Stay, Stay.
And Holy Ground.
Holy Ground is a really good song. Begin Again is also one of my favorite songs.
I didn't think I was gonna ever listen to the 10-minute long version of All Too Well, and it's the one I've listened to the most. I think everyone
It
has 'cause it reached number 1.
Yeah, it's, Taylor Swift's magnum opus, if you ask most people.
How do I put this? She got us to listen to this song for 10 minutes. Yes, it is. And it doesn't feel like 10 minutes is also the deal.
It
I
doesn't.
don't feel like I'm sitting there and it's already been 10 minutes. It actually flows very well. I thought it was just gonna be like a song with extra verses and it sucked in, and no, it's a completely different version of the song that she put out originally. Like, the shorter All Too Well is like somebody looking back fondly on a relationship versus like the 10-minute version is somebody that was deeply hurt by this relationship. And it's just like wild to me.
It's
And
like
I'm
Burn versus First Burn.
Huh?
Have you never listened to First Burn?
No, what's that?
First Burn is the first draft of Burn that Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote, and he released it as a ham jam.
Ooh,
Oh, buddy, I'm
no.
sending that to you after we're done with this podcast.
Okay.
But yeah, Taylor Swift, fantastic. She's amazing. Can't wait for the rest of the re-releases because, like, a lot of these are favorite Taylor Swift albums for me.
Yeah. And also, thank you, Taylor Swift, for releasing Wildest Dreams because I love that song so much, and I felt so guilty listening to it, and now I don't have to.
And I want you to know that I'm waiting on that re-release for Sparks Fly because I know it's gonna slap.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
I'm
Anyway,
sorry, what number are we on? 4?
we're on number 4. Taylor Swift's on number 4, and you can go to yours.
Speaking of blondes, even though she's currently a brunette, my number 4 is Dove Cameron.
Woo woo!
She didn't release an album or anything this year, which is why it's crazy that she's my number 4. But she did release a couple of singles. She was really low on my list until I went to go see her live in concert for my birthday. I loved every minute of it. A Dove Cameron concert experience is very different from any other concert that I've ever been to because it's literally a group of people who gathers together to listen to Dove Cameron sing, but also flirt with her between songs. Every single person in the audience, without fail.
I love that for all of you.
Somebody's gonna get a line in the midst of us waiting for the next song. She talks with the crowd a lot, which is really, really nice. And she's really interactive. It's so nice. And she seems so friendly. And just like she's got like a really dope vibe. She's got a phenomenal voice. I already thought that she was an amazing singer, but getting to actually hear her sing live and then also just to hear her like goof around, like she was goofing around at times. Like she started singing operatically at one point just for fun, just
All right.
for shits and giggles.
That's awesome.
It's ridiculous the range that she has because the fact that she can do that, but her music doesn't sound like that because she mostly releases pop music, but
Mhm.
she has the ability to sing classically. She is a classically trained singer and she's so good. So her range is incredible. The songs that she released this year are Lazy Baby and Taste of You, which she did with Rez, who is a DJ. Taste of You is my favorite of those 2 songs, but Lazy Baby is a fantastic breakup song and it's super catchy and I love it. Another standout for me this year is a song that she has not officially released. I hope that she's going to put it on the EP. Please put it on the EP that she's working on right now. It's called Whole Body, and she only performed it at her concerts. And I'm so thankful that I have a full video of her performing that song because
Ooh.
that's my favorite song that she has done all year. Whole Body is catchy. It's such a good song. So good. But yeah, her mini tour is the reason why she's my number 4, but she also did 3 amazing songs this year and I love them. And I can't wait for her EP to come out most likely next year. She's great. Dove Cameron's awesome. So that's my number 4.
Nice.
Which brings us to our top 3.
We are in the top 3.
We're in the end game now.
Woo woo.
Starting with my number 3, which is Silk Sonic.
Skip.
I figured.
Ooh. I forgot to put them on my list somewhere, but it's fine.
Actually, it's my number 3.
Oh my
I thought it
gosh,
was-
we're doing this.
For some reason, I thought it was my number 2. It's my number 3. I'm so sorry.
Let's
All
talk
right,
about
so
Silk Sonic.
Let's talk about.
All of us?
Yeah,
I
why
mean,
not?
they're not on my list, but like I want to
Oh.
talk about them because I will never say this bitch
Bitch,
the same way
God.
ever again.
Pain and red. Okay,
The
let's talk
pain in
about.
Bruno Mars voice.
Remember when we were at your house listening to this?
Yeah, it was amazing. And Evening with Silk Sonic is the name of the album because we
Yes.
haven't said
It's
it
a
yet.
great album.
And it's fantastic.
Yes, featuring Bootsy Collins, I believe is the.
I think presented by Bootsy Collins is the way
That's
that they
what it
said it.
is.
It's so good. Like two of the most musically talented dudes in the game right now,
Anderson
Anderson
Paak.
Paak and Bruno Mars, and they're
Mhm.
working together. Absolute fire. When Leave the Door Open came out,
Dude.
like 7 years ago, it hit the streets and it was fire
I'ma
everywhere.
leave
Yes.
that door
It's so good.
open.
Never have I been more upset that I can't go do karaoke with my friends 'cause of the
Right?
pandemic. I
We
was like,
should though. We should do
we
it at
gotta
your
hit the
house.
karaoke spots again because
Yes.
that song
Yes.
is so good. And I thought, I can't wait for this album. And then almost a year later, we finally got it.
Well, we're also gonna
Smoking
have
out
to
the
sing
window.
"Smoking Out the Window."
Yes.
Definitely.
I'm sorry. That the music the point that you pointed out
Iconic.
where
Iconic.
not to be dramatic, but I want to die, and then it just falls on the ground. I do
It's
that
still
at
on the
work.
ground.
It stays on the ground.
Ain't there.
Yo,
I do
when-
that at work now. I'm like, not to be dramatic.
What's the
but I
line that
wanna
he
die.
has during the bridge? The
Which one?
oh no, I can't think of it. I hope you're doing well for yourself.
Oh, but
no,
also
no,
hope
no,
your
no.
trifling ass is walking
Vanessa's walking
barefoot through the
barefoot
streets right now.
That line is amazing.
It's so good. It's so they
Oh.
captured that era perfectly.
You would
And
think
it's
that we were
so-
talking about a comedy album with how much we are laughing over this song, but
Right.
it's also such a good song.
They're
Oh,
just so
it's
funny,
so
but also
good.
talented. Everything that you've talked about with all of the breakup albums and
Yes.
the Taylor Swift and the Adele and everything, you can feel every ounce of that energy in the way he says it and tilts his head.
Yeah.
But also Anderson Paak too. Anderson Paak also, you can feel his
yeah.
pain. They both say it with their whole chest.
Whole
Very true.
chest.
I love it.
With their full spirits, everything.
I made a joke on my Instagram story where I was like processing like a Casey Musgraves husband divorce, like while knowing that an Adele's husband divorce is coming up. And then I was just, and like Jake Gyllenhaal just broke up with you. And then I was like, I tried to listen to Silk Sonic, but this bitch got me paying her rent. Like,
There was a tweet that I found that was the life of a stan or whatever, and it was just the video of Bruno Mars going, "This bitch got me paying her rent."
Yes.
Diamonds on her neck, diamonds on her wrist. And I was like, you know what? Accurate. They really do
Yep.
got us out here paying for everything.
Yep. I paid for that.
I also want to give a shout out to Anderson Paak on his own because he also did Fire in the Sky, which is the credit song
He
for
did.
Shang-Chi and The Legend of the Ten Rings. And I love that song.
It's such a dope song.
Yep.
Man, Anderson Paak is so talented. Like
Yep.
the way he plays the drums while singing. And Bruno it's not fair that two dudes this talented are working together. And I love it because
Yep.
it gave me one of my favorite albums of the year.
Dude, Fly is Me, 777. So many dope songs.
It's so you're listing all my favorite songs.
Because they're all dope songs.
That Fly is Me. The fact that this is an actual lyric. I deserve to be with somebody as fly as me. And then he says, you deserve to be seen with somebody as fly as me.
Yes.
That's the funniest thing in the world to me.
But also know your worth.
Right.
Beautiful.
I was like, these niggas is tripping, but I love it. And
I
also
love it.
777 is fantastic.
Nothing beats Smoking Out the Window for me, unfortunately. I hate to be just like a mainstream.
No. I don't think anything could beat Smoking Out the Window for me either because, like I said, I'm never going to say this bitch the same way ever again.
No, me either. No one is. It's iconic.
It's iconic now. There's no way to stop.
I've made like middle-aged men at work listen to this because I'm like, you don't understand. This is amazing. And like, and also because I need them to understand where I was singing when I was like, not to be dramatic, but I want to die.
Oh, right. Every single, because even Skate, which is one that came out between Leave the Door Open and Smoking Out the Window, it's so like it has that summer feel, that like roll bounce. You're skating on roller skates, and the lines in it like, I can smell your sweet perfume. You smell better than the barbecue.
A choice.
You know they were rolling on the floor laughing writing
I love
these songs
so much. I love everything that they put into this album. It's so fantastic. I know probably all the words to all of the singles by now.
Yeah.
'Cause I've
And I
listened to
love
them
how
so much.
short it is. It's short. It's
Very
sweet,
short.
I love short albums.
It's to the point.
However, it took too long to come out.
Right?
It
It took so long to come out. For me, my favorite songs are Fly As Me, 777, and Leave the Door Open. With honorable mentions for Smoking Out the Window and Skate.
That's almost the
Yeah.
entire album, ain't it?
I know, right?
Yeah.
I think I left off like 2 or 3 albums.
You left
2 or
off
3
3 songs, and one of them was in the introduction.
One was an introduction.
So you left off 2 songs. What?
Yeah, I couldn't stop.
It's like us doing our top 5 for Spider-Man movies.
Exactly. Like, no, we
It's
left
like
out
all
a
the
couple.
Spider-Man movies.
But
And then
yeah,
we ended up not leaving out any.
exactly. But yeah, Silk Sonic.
Yeah. That was
Fantastic.
our number 3, to me.
Oh, that's right. It was both your number 3. So my number 3 is Olivia Rodrigo
Yo,
for
let's
her
talk
album
about it.
Sour. Bro, I wish Olivia Rodrigo had been around when I was 17 because
Right?
this album is insane. So first off, Olivia Rodrigo was almost on my list last year
Okay.
for a song that she did for High School Musical, the musical, the series. I loved that song so much. Obviously, it's a musical series, so she's done several songs on that show,
Yeah.
several of them that I have loved. From the jump, I was like, wow, she's super talented. And I really like this song, but it was like one song, and it was back when I was trying to just only do albums on a music list. Whatever. This year she has a full album, and it
Yep.
doesn't have anything to do with High School Musical. Well, that's not true. It does kind of have something to do with High School Musical, the musical, the
It
series,
does.
but it's not from there. She's such a good singer. She's such a good songwriter. And one of the things that I love is we were just talking about Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is a great songwriter. And it's very clear that Taylor Swift has already had influence on the next generation of music artists because you can hear some of those songwriting abilities in Olivia Rodrigo's music. Olivia does a fantastic job of really putting you in her emotional mindset during these songs and the way that she's feeling in these songs.
Yeah.
Also, her genre of music is not what I was anticipating from listening to her on High School Musical, the musical, the series.
Yeah. She
Was
jumps
not anticipating this
around
at
a
all.
lot, and I love it.
Was not expecting her to cuss as much either, but here
I
we
love
are.
it for us, though.
We're fine. It's
You know
cool.
what I like about this album is it feels like a mixtape
It's
because
dope.
she jumps around with styles so much.
But it's still also mostly like kind of punk pop, punk rock sort of vibes throughout.
Yeah.
Mostly because that's the type of music that she said her mom used to be into
Okay.
or is into. So that's the type of music that's always inspired her
That
and
makes
influenced
sense.
her.
Yeah. What are the
Outside of,
standouts for
Taylor Swift.
you?
Okay, so my standouts are so basic because the whole album is good. On repeat, nonstop, it was always Brutal, Deja Vu, and Good For You.
Dude, same.
Those are the ones that I just like feel like you can just yell at people. But also, I just love Brutal because I forever love singing, God, it's brutal out here.
Yeah.
I love the guitar on that.
15-year-old Gabby would have related to that song super hard.
Oh, yeah. Her line about being 17 and then she goes, "Where's my fucking teenage dream?"
Yeah.
And I'm just like, damn,
Oof,
son. I love this
relatable.
song.
And then I love Deja Vu because it reminds me of the MGMT songs that were popular when we were in high school.
I also love that music video.
Yes. It just gives me like kids vibe, electric feel. What's the other one that was super popular when we were kids? I think it's like Time to Pretend. Yeah, Time to Pretend too. Like that's the kind of vibe that song gives off, and I love it. Like a lot of people were talking about Good For You sounded like Paramore, but like nobody was talking about how Deja Vu sounded like MGMT. And I was like,
yeah,
it's here.
But I love Good For You because it sounds like Paramore. When Good For You came out, at that point, she had only released Driver's License and Deja Vu, which were two very like low tempo songs. And I was like, I wonder if she can do anything that's not lower tempo. If she can do something that's a little bit more
Like
upbeat.
up.
And then she released Good For You. And I was like, bro, this girl can do everything. She's amazing. I love Good For You. I love the Good For You music video, all of its movie references. Such a good video. But also like some honorable mentions to Traitor and Favorite Crime because those are also very popular songs from the album. Not to be completely basic. Traitor and Favorite Crime are amazing.
Yeah, they are.
But yeah, Olivia Rodrigo for my number 3 artist. She was number 2, but then something happened, and I'll talk about that later. So, our number 2s, guys. Dallas, what you got?
Number 2. My number 2 is Jermaine Cole, primarily for his album The Off Season, and also the song The Jackie featuring Bass and Lil TJ. J. Cole. Jermaine. J. Cole. He just raps so well.
The fact that you called this man by his whole name, and I was sitting here the
used
whole
his
time like
name.
I was like, who is this man that he's talking? It sounds familiar. It does. The Cole part sounds real familiar, but I don't know Jermaine Cole.
I'm going to tell you why in a minute. But first of all, the Off Season came out earlier in the year, and I was listening, like, oh, this is fire. But when he said, Krispy Kreme dreams, sometimes my dogs want to kill 12, I was like, oh,
what?
This is going on the list. To explain that to you guys, 12 is a slang term for police.
Ooh.
Krispy Kreme dreams,
that.
12 donuts.
KKK. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, like sometimes you want to kill 12, but, 12, please. But yeah, like that's on the first song. And like in the context of the verse, he says, all your niggas eating off your wealth. All my niggas feeding all themselves and it feels swell. Krispy Kreme dreams from time my dogs want to kill 12. Because it's steady harassing. We seen dilemmas like Nelly and Kelly that end in the deadliest fashion. My young niggas nutty, they blasting. Bullets be humming like Cuddy. Put one in your hoodie, spaghetti, yo splashing. And I was like, oh my God, this nigga spitting. But like we seen dilemmas like Kelly and Nelly. Nelly and Kelly rolling.
I got that.
This
I
nigga.
got
Right. Bullets be
Yeah, the
humming like Cuddy.
dilemma. Yeah, the dilemma reference was what got me, especially because every time I think about that song, I just think about the phone with the XL.
Oh my God, the XL. Like, how are you? How is he gonna? You're using an XL. Why did they do that?
Probably because it was easier to actually see on camera.
That makes
Girl,
sense.
you didn't
But
even
man,
send. You didn't even hit send.
Right? Like,
You
how
can't.
was
You hit enter. You hit space.
using the spreadsheet? But the reason I called this man Jermaine Cole, Gabby, and Demi. So, do you guys know Mark Phillips by name?
Yes.
This is the guy who made the "Ain't Nothing Fools That Way" video. Yeah, Supreme Dreams.
Yes.
RDC World.
Yes.
Okay, he has a very, very famous video when J. Cole fans heard he was dropping a new album. And this video came out like 5 years ago. And it's Mark and Leland, another dude that he works with. And they're like shooting dice and their guns on the floor and they're gambling. He has like a do-rag and a red bandana and a red wife beater. The dude who comes up with the camera is like, hey man, J. Cole got a new album coming out. And he looks at him and he's like, what? And he's like, J. Cole, he got a new album coming out. He's like, J. Cole, Jermaine Cole. The way he says it, he's so shook. I'm so glad you guys haven't seen this because I'm gonna send it to you tonight.
Oh, we're watching it as a group right now.
The way he says it, Jermaine, yeah, Cole. He's like, yes, and then Mark just starts saying lyrics. He just starts saying J. Cole lyrics. He's like, yeah, man, what? And he's like, oh my God. He starts picking up the money. He tells the other dude to leave. He starts like, I gotta get my life together, man. Like, I'm over here shooting dice and gambling. Like, I don't even like this stuff. He takes off his bandana, puts a little button-up shirt on.
Oh my God.
It's so great. But the best part about that is the song "The Jackie," which is it's Bass, another dude who's a part of Dreamville, which is J. Cole's like music collective. The music video came out, and Mark Phillips is in the video. J. Cole put him in the video, and it's the most full circle thing, and I love it so much. I'm so happy.
Send me that video.
I'm so happy for Mark because seeing where he started and seeing that he's met pretty much everyone he's made videos about.
Yeah.
The Jackie, for those who don't know, because we're not from New York, there's Jackie Robinson Parkway. It's in New York. And they're driving and they almost hit somebody. It's Mark and his friends.
Yes!
And they're yelling at him. And they're like, hey, man, what you doing? Like, they're running up on the car like, hey, what you want to do? What you want to do? And they see that it's J. Cole. And then Mark is like, Jermaine? It's the best. I love it so much. And I love that he put him in the video. Everything about it. It's so dope. Shout out to J. Cole for that. My favorite songs are 95 South, Punch in the Clock, and The Jackie. And that's my number 2.
Gabby, what's your number 2?
I'm about to make this real white. My number 2 is Casey Musgraves.
I mean,
I adore.
Listen, we already had a country artist on the list today. You're fine.
No, I know, but just it's a
although
hard,
yours is hella country.
It's a hard right. Actually, she's not technically country anymore. She's fully pop now.
Oh, did she go full pop now?
She transitioned with her previous album. She pulled the Taylor Swift. She transitioned with Golden Hour. That was like her first, I'm not country no more. This is like, I'm fully not country no more. So Casey Musgraves released her divorce album.
Oh boy.
It's called Star-Crossed. And right the month before Adele, she released this album October. Goodness. Adele released her album November. I was like, and then Taylor Swift dropped her re-release in between there. I was feeling it. I was like, my divorce, even though
you're in a very
I'm in a very stable and happy relationship.
Yeah, the music industry understands that when fall hits, what needs to be released is A, Christmas music, or B, good ballads and sad music.
Yeah.
That's what you release during the fall season.
It goes with going dark at 5 o'clock.
Yes. It goes with the leaves changing colors and falling from the trees and all that stuff. It's part of the vibe.
Exactly.
Sad girl autumn.
Sad girl autumn. Yes. Peak sad girl autumn. This year especially.
Cottagecore. Okay. I don't know.
Yes, basically. Bake a cake and cry. So yeah, so Casey Musgraves released her album. I love Casey Musgraves. I listen to her country AF music. I listen to her crossover album. I listen to her Christmas album. I love her. I even bought tickets to her show in February. My body is ready. And specifically from this album, I really like the song Good Wife, which is literally about her wanting to be a good wife and just not realizing she's probably not good at it.
Oh,
It's
oh,
so
oh,
sad. Like
that's
it's
really sad.
like the line of the song is literally, I just want to be a good wife. And you're just like, oh.
Casey, it might not have been that maybe you're just not a good wife for him. You might be a good wife for somebody else.
Well, I mean, she got divorced, so yeah, it's definitely not. The other song I really liked was Breadwinner. That one's really catchy. And then lastly, she did a song in Spanish. And it's called Gracias a la Vida, which is a classic in
Audience,
Latin
you
America.
couldn't see it, but me and Dallas both, our heads both went back. We both looked shocked. We had the white guy blink, everything. Just
Yeah, I was like,
Right? I
at the
was
same
surprised
time.
too.
she did what now?
She released the track list, and I saw
She's speaking
that
better Spanish than me and Dallas, apparently.
she does. She speaks
Of
good
course.
Spanish. Well, okay, speaks is a strong word. She doesn't know what she's saying, but she got the pronunciation right.
Listen, Christina Aguilera did the same thing, girl. It's
Mhm.
okay.
Exactly. She got the pronunciation right. Like I played this song for my dad, and then I was like, "Yeah, that was a white girl," and he was like, "Excuse me." He was like, "Wow." Yeah, standouts for me were "Good Wife," "Breadwinner," and "Gracias a la Vida," which is like a classic song that we listen to in Latin America. It was originally like written in, I think, in Chile. So "Gracias a la Vida" means thank you to life, and the original songwriter low key wrote it as a suicide note because she like killed herself the next year.
Dallas and I once again making the same shocked reactions.
Right?
That
And
was a
the whole
lot.
song is like she had just had a huge breakup. Like she broke up with her partner of like 12 years, the songwriter. She wrote the song that was like thank you to life. She thanked them for the eyes that so she could see, her ears so she could hear, her hands so she could touch, her legs so she could walk. Like that's the whole song. What Casey did was she realized she heard the song when she was having like a guided LSD trip, and she heard the song. Then she did some research on it and realized that like it was originally written ages ago by that one artist, and then it sort of like keeps having a new life over time. Like a new artist will do a cover and the song gains momentum again. And so she recorded the song and she wanted it to sound like it was moving through time. So the beginning of the song sounds like it was recorded in the early aughts. It has like a grainy tone to it. As the song goes on, it sounds clearer and clearer and clearer until it's at the end and it sounds like something that was recorded now. To tell you I was obsessed is not to fully like is not to fully explain. I must have annoyed the heck out of Eric listening to the song, but I loved it. It's not something that I expected to get from Casey Musgraves. Like she has covered, like in her Christmas album, she did Feliz Navidad, but it's not the same, right? There's like that song's like a mix of Spanish and English, and it's
Right.
a classic Christmas song. I did not expect to see or hear a song that you really only have seen Latin American artists for Latin America cover. I didn't expect to see a country, like an originally country music star cover it in like a highly anticipated album. So that was a nice surprise. I love this song. It's so good. It's so sad and it's so great. Anyway, that's my number 2.
All right.
Yeah, I think that leads to my number 2. My number 2 is Zayn for his album Nobody Is Listening, which released like in January. So it spent a long
Wow.
time
Damn.
in my top 3. It used to be my number 1, but again, something happened, and you'll find out when we actually reach my number 1.
Oh.
I love Zayn. I've always loved his music, his solo music, more so than when he was in One Direction. Because once I found out Zayn likes R&B music, I was like, oh, that dude should be singing that stuff. And he's really good at it, in my opinion. And I love the fact that when he makes his R&B music, he also infuses it with his Middle Eastern culture as well. And I think that's really, really cool. But yeah, it's just a good album. It's a lot shorter than his last album, which had like 26 songs on it. This one only had like 10 to 12 or something like that, which is nice. In my opinion, it's just a really nice, short, well, not short, like average length R&B album. And the standouts for me are Vibes, Windowsill featuring Devlin, and Tightrope. Tightrope is just super romantic, and I love it so much. Vibes is the single off of the album, and it is a vibe. Indeed, it is a vibe. I love that music video. It's such a weird music video, and I just think that the song is really like chill to listen to. And then the song Windowsill, it originally, and I just want to say that, give a shout out to the song Sweat. Sweat was originally on my standouts list because Sweat is purely an 80s NSFW baby making song. You
Yeah.
listen to the beat and, like, the music and the melody, it's, like, straight up 80s. I was like, "You could throw this into an 80s love scene and, like, it would fit." The chorus lyrics are basically like, sweat for me," and it's just like, "Ooh, okay, okay."
Yeah.
But then I replaced it with Windowsill, which is another NSFW
Mm.
song, literally from the jump. From the moment he starts singing, it's immediately an NSFW song. But I also, like, put it as my standout because A, I was listening to it a lot more than I was listening to Sweat. And B, Devlin's verse on the song, I really like it. So at the end of his verse, he goes, "When the body is that hot, it's a curse, damnation, and there ain't no salvation. This girl could walk through hell, and I'm sure she'd tempt Satan if she ain't the devil herself." And I was just like,
Goodness.
"Oof, I love that. I love
Yeah.
that so much." That is the type of bar that I'm interested in. That's me type of writing. But I also just really, really love that song. Those are my 3 standouts for Nobody Is Listening. I hope that he releases new music soon. He's currently going under some life controversies and drama, so we'll see if that works out.
Yikes.
Because, ooh, boy, he got himself into some trouble recently.
Mm.
But yeah, Nobody Is Listening. Good album. I recommend it. Zayn is a very excellent singer. Love his stuff. I feel like his vibe of singing is that, like, he almost always sounds like he's high.
Mm,
Like, he always just sounds, like, so mellow and cool with his singing, which I really,
right.
really like. But also, he might actually be high the entire time he's singing, so who knows?
Maybe.
But that leads us to our number ones, guys. But before we get into that, I do have Colin's list.
Oh, yes. Colin's list.
Colin's list. Y'all
Yeah.
ready for these names?
I sure am.
Actually, most of these seem normal. So number 10 is The Midnight. Number 9 is Shepherd. Number 8 is Tillian. Number 7 is, I want to say it's Alex. It might be ALX, but I looked up the artist and his actual name is Alex, so maybe it's just a really stylized way of spelling Alex. But anyway, 6 is Black Bear. Number 5 is Remy Wolf. Number 4 is Lil Nas X. Number 3 is Grayscale. Number 2 is Ben Platt. And number 1 is Push Baby.
Woo.
I have heard of 3 of them. I've heard of Ben Platt, Lil Nas X, and Black Bear. Because I think Black Bear was on his list before, like last year.
Black Bear is also super dope.
Dope.
I like his song with Machine Gun Kelly.
Mm,
Yep.
that
So,
tracks.
number 1, Dallas.
Number 1, my number 1 is Vince Staples for his album, Vince Staples.
Woo.
So, interestingly enough, I've loved Vince Staples for a while because he's hilarious and insightful, and his interviews are always my favorite interviews. He's my favorite episode of Hot Ones, which it says a lot because there are like 200 episodes.
Yeah.
But I've never really listened to a lot of his music, ironically. Like, I always say he's my favorite rapper whose music I don't listen to. But this is the first project I've actually taken the time to listen to in full, which didn't take long because the album is only 22 minutes, and I love it. I love the album. Like I said earlier, I love short projects. The faster I can get through it, the faster I can enjoy it. But also in just 22 minutes, he made me feel like a Crip from Long Beach, which I didn't know was possible.
That's a choice.
I was
That's
like,
a
oh, we
feeling.
riding on this? All right. I'm in
We
my
riding on them, Ben.
I'm in my apartment doing dishes, thinking about doing drive-bys. Yeah, he's very creative in the way that he describes his violence. He's the first rapper I can think of that has said "put you on a shirt" as a reference to killing someone.
Ooh,
And I
I
can't
understood
believe
that
right,
reference.
and I can't believe I haven't heard that before, but when he said it, I thought, "Oh my god, I forgot that that's the thing." Like,
We do
for a
that.
more mainstream example, if you've seen You Got Served, remember Lil Saint gets shot, and then they all wear shirts that have Lil Saint airbrushed on them because that's a thing that we used to do. Maybe still do. I don't know.
No, we still do that. That's still a thing.
All right, well, yeah. One of the lines he says is in the song Lil Fade. He says, "Wartime, I was in the back seat, I was on the front line, smoked cuz he was popping hot shit. Now we on a pro club." And I was like, pro clubs too?
Oh, damn. What is it, 2008?
Right? Like now we on a pro club
Pro
then?
Club.
But yeah.
If
So
he had said AAA, it would have for real been.
or a shaka. But like pro club hits in a way that takes me
Yep.
right back to
Yep.
middle school and early high school.
Oof.
So man,
Oof.
shout out Vince
You
for that.
used to wear Pro Club, right?
I actually didn't,
Who
which is
did? Somebody
everyone
did.
else.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, now we're in a pro club. That's crazy. It's so fun. Keep saying that it's only 22 minutes because I don't know how he finds the time to check all these boxes because he has the gangster talk about drive-bys, but then he also has still gangster talk, but more emotional side of it. There's a song called Sundown Town, and he talks basically about where he comes from and how it's dangerous. Not in the way that a traditional sundown town is dangerous, because that's scary white people.
Yeah.
But this is basically where he's from and how you could easily die. One of the things he says is, lost too many friends to the down the streets. I can't pretend that I'll make amends. I know that the blood gonna spill again, hanging on them corners, same as hanging from a ceiling fan. And like that imagery of just like, it's like almost suicide to just go stand on the corner and this, like, fam.
It's too hard. It's too tough.
And it's so dark. And I don't know if you've ever seen an interview with Vince Staples. He's so funny all the time. And it's like, yo.
So then that's how he gets out the darkness.
Yeah. I was like, there are compilations on Twitter and probably TikTok, but I don't have TikTok, that are just like threads of funny things Vince Staples have said. One of my favorites was, I don't know if it was Coachella or the BET Awards, something like that. But he's getting interviewed by this girl. And this is before R. Kelly was actually locked up.
Ooh.
And he started talking about how R. Kelly's a piece of trash. And she was like, stop, you're going to get me in trouble. He's like, what? R. Kelly don't work here?
I remember that interview,
You remember that?
and I loved that interview. It was the only thing I'd ever seen Vince Staples like say or do, except for maybe the song from Into the Spider-Verse.
Right.
And that interview,
I
was dying.
Vince Staples, his a song in the credits for Into the Spider-Verse called Home. But yeah, that interview is so funny. He's like, what, R. Kelly don't work here? He's like, if they love R. Kelly so much, they should have booked him. He would have peed on somebody in the front row.
Shit!
That whole interview was iconic.
No.
It's iconic.
Oh my God.
Gabby, we can use that tonight too.
I think I just found it.
It's that one.
Yep,
yes.
that looks like, yep, that's
it.
That's
so
it.
funny.
It's iconic.
I'm going to listen to this. I'm so excited.
He's so good. I'm going to finish off that recitation I was doing earlier.
Yeah.
After hanging from a ceiling fan, when I see my fans, I'm too paranoid to shake their hands, clutching on the blam. Don't know if you foe or if you fam. And it's just like anxiety, fear of death, and put niggas on pro clubs. This album checks so many boxes in only 22 minutes. And I've listened to this album 1,000 times because it's so short. I can just put it on repeat.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out Vince Staples. I'm so glad to actually say I've thoroughly enjoyed his music, because I've also thoroughly enjoyed him as a person already. But now I can actually say, as a rapper, I enjoy your art as well. So shout out Vince. I hope you're listening. So my favorite songs from Vince Staples are You With That, Take Me Home, and Sundown Town. And that's my number one. My list is done.
Yeah.
Gabby, what's your number one?
My number one is Montero himself, Lil Nas X.
Let's go. What a great album.
Dude, I didn't realize this was his first album. I didn't realize it was all album. EPs before this. Yes, Lil Nas.
Colin was telling me that, and I was like, wait, this is his first album? I thought that Old Town... Well, I guess it wasn't on an album.
It was just really popular on SoundCloud and TikTok, and now he's a giant, amazing star. And you know why he's number one? Okay, go ahead.
What genre is Lil Nas X? Like, what?
He's a rapper.
He's a rapper.
This is a rap album?
Yeah.
Yes, but he does. One of the things that I love about the album is that he also dips into other genres as well.
Yeah.
And he does those really well also. Like, he's really good at that. So like, he does hip hop, but also he's able to like switch up genres whenever he wants to and still be really good at it.
Got it.
Yeah. He's talented AF. He's a well-rounded musical artist, I feel like. He's mostly my number one because he is unapologetically himself.
As an artist should be.
As an artist. And I feel like he's unapologetically himself. He came out. There's a line in Industry, it's in Industry Baby where he's like, I don't fuck bitches because I'm queer. Like, yes! Like, and like, that's a hard spot to be.
Industry Baby.
I cannot stress how much I love Industry Baby. I started liking Jack Harlow because of Industry Baby.
I've heard no other songs by Jack Harlow except... I've only ever heard Industry Baby, and I love his verse.
Me too. Dude, when he said, these bitches know I'm nasty, I sent her back to her boyfriend with my handprint on her ass cheek, I was like, excuse me?
Oh, man. I love I Don't Clear Up Rumors. Where's your sense of humor?
What is it? Something like Baby Boomers? Like,
I love even just the beginning of Jack Harlow's verse, my track record so clean, they couldn't wait to just bash me. I must be getting too flashy. Y'all shouldn't let the world gas me.
And then I looked up to see who Jack Harlow was, and I was like, this is a white boy. Since when?
He's also the white boy that gave us What's Poppin'. Don't mind me just watching.
I didn't know that was him either. Like,
That's him.
I went to look it up, or like I found out later, but I was like, excuse me, that was a white boy too the whole time?
Yep.
Who gave him the right?
Lil Nas X though on Industry Baby. Industry Baby is one of the standouts on the album for me
Yes.
because gosh, like his chorus for that one, get your soldiers, tell them I ain't laying low. Like he's like, no,
Yep.
y'all ain't gonna talk about me behind my back like
Yeah.
that. I'm not hiding nowhere. Like come at
No.
me. I'm not scared of you.
So my partner, he loves rap music obviously as well. He was telling me how most rap artists do their sort of rollout of their career. He said, you know, their first album is usually like proving that they can rap. And then he says, then they start to sort of play around with genre a little bit more later when people know that they see their solid rap talent.
See that
And
they
then
have
he's like,
flow.
yeah. So he's like, the only person that's not doing that is this kid. And I'm like, who's this kid? And he's like, that Lil Nas kid. He's like, that man is doing whatever he wants, and I respect the shit out of it. And I'm like, wow, like that's high praise. Like from my partner, he's just doing whatever he wants.
It's
He's
true. This whole album
promoting
is
however he
legit
wants.
just him doing whatever he wants. My standouts from the album are obviously Industry Baby. I love that song. But also the song immediately after it, That's What I Want. I love that song, which it almost sounds like an alternative rock song almost.
Yeah, a little bit.
Even though it's a rap song. And I really love that. And then also Scoop featuring Doja Cat.
Scoop is my favorite song on this whole album.
Understand, I'm just trying to feed it daily. Scoop. I love that song. Such a good
That
song.
one and One of Me with Elton John. My heart.
It's a really good album. Just like the whole album is really, really good. So like it was hard to like bring it down to like 3 songs. He has a song on here with Megan Thee Stallion.
He got everybody. He got Miley, got Elton John, he got Doja Cat, and Jack Harlow.
Obviously, like everybody knows Montero, Call Me by Your Name. Like that was the one that got super controversial.
Dude, I love that video.
That's a great song though. It's a very catchy song too. But he also gets really deep on some of these songs. Like I think like Dead Right Now, like he was talking about some stuff and I was just like, ooh, buddy, I didn't know you were going through all that.
Yeah. And One of Me. It's so good. He's so good. He's so talented. And I love him. And I love that he's just being himself and he's being wild. And I feel like he's incredibly brave. And
it's a great album, as you can tell, because it's literally on 3 out of 4 of our top 10 favorite music artists of the year lists.
Yep.
Because it's on mine, it's on Colin's, it's on Gabby's. Me and Colin listen to Lil Nas X almost every single time we're in a car together.
Oh.
It's a great album. All right, I'm going to take us out with my number 1. My number 1 is Halsey for her album, If I Can't Have Love, I Want Power.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I love Halsey. Halsey's one of my favorite artists. I love her alternative vibe. She just got nominated for a Grammy for this album. It's such a good album. At first, she was number 3 on my music list after the album came out, and I was like, oh, this is really good. And like she was under Olivia and Zayn. And then I started re-listening to it again like a month or 2 ago. And I was like, depending on the day that you catch me on, I vibe with almost every single song on that album. I love just about the whole album. It's almost an unskippable album for me. It's so good. But also it's a very dark album about motherhood and pregnancy and love. Halsey has been very outspoken about the fact that she's gone through several miscarriages. She just had a baby this year. And so the album is mostly about that. It's so dark and moody. The album was produced by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, who are also part of Nine Inch Nails.
Right.
I vibe with this album so hard. It's such a good album. I don't know how many more times I can say that. My standouts from the album are I Am Not a Woman, I'm a God, which the lyrics, most of the chorus is I am not a woman, I'm a God. I am not a martyr, I'm a problem. I am not a legend, I'm a fraud. I love that song. That was the first song that I fell in love with on the album because it was her first single for it.
Nice.
Darling, I would recommend because it's like the most ballad-like song on the album. It's also a very sad emo song. My friend Emily loves that song and was the one who actually really got me into it more so than I had been when I first listened to the album. But it is a super good song and it's also the super, super sad. And then she has a song called 1121, which might be my favorite song on the album. I love the chorus, or I love the verses mostly. She says, I won't die for love, but ever since I met you, you could have my heart and I would break it for you.
Nice.
The bridge, she has it's just such a well-written album. She got nominated for a Grammy, obviously. So it's one of my favorite Halsey albums because I didn't rock with the last one as much. I liked it, but I didn't rock with it as much. This one, like almost every song I loved. I like The Tradition. I really like Bells in Santa Fe. Girl is a Gun rocks. I really love Honey. Honey's dope. Whispers was also almost on my standouts until I got into Darling. But Whispers I really love as well. And that's almost the whole album right there. So
Yeah. I'm like looking at it and I'm like, every other song.
yeah, every other song. Yeah. Easier Than Lying is also really great. Whole thing, every song, dope. But yeah, as somebody who's been a fan of Halsey for like ever. If Camila Cabello had released another album this year, it was gonna be a wrap. I was like, number one. But she didn't
Right.
release it this year. Halsey gets my number one spot. She's super dope, and this album is incredible. She also made a film to go with it
Nice.
that I think you can still watch on HBO Max right now. It was released in IMAX when it first came out, but it's a film that's literally just all the songs from the album, but she tells a very medieval kind of gothic story to go along with it.
Okay.
And it's super dope and also kind of graphic. It's definitely rated R.
All right.
I would highly recommend it. Also, Sasha Lane is in her film, and Sasha Lane is dope. Me and Colin both really like her. Colin's a bigger fan of hers than I am, but she was on Loki most recently.
Okay.
But yeah, that's my number one. So let's do our recaps, shall we? Dallas.
Oh yes, I always forget that we do that. My honorable mentions are Russ, The Offspring, and Billie Eilish. Number 10, Drake. I'm as surprised as you are. Number 9, Nas. Number 8, Corday. Number 7, Marlon Craft. Number 6, Jay-Z. Number 5, Denzel Curry. Number 4, Mac. Number 3, Silk Sonic. Number 2, Jermaine Cole. And number 1 is Vince Staples.
Okay, my honorable mentions were The Marias, Felix the First, Andrea Mack, and my number 10 is Doja Cat, 9 Willow, 8 Billie Eilish, 7 Olivia Rodrigo, 6 Ariana Grande, 5 Adele, 4 Taylor Swift, 3 Silk Sonic, 2 Casey Musgraves, and number 1 Lil Nas X.
Dope. And my honorable mentions are Christina Aguilera, Normani, Rachel Zegler, Billie Eilish, Taylor Swift, Lauren Balfe, and Hans Zimmer. And my number 10 is Travis Garland. Number 9 is Don Richard. Number 8, Camila Cabello. Number 7, Demi Lovato. Number 6, Cassidy Pope. Number 5, Lil Nas X. Number 4, Dev Cameron. Number 3, Olivia Rodrigo. Number 2, Zayn. And number 1, Halsey.
Woo woo. We did
That's
it.
all we've got for you guys today. Stay tuned tomorrow for our final recap day where we will be talking about our most anticipated movies of 2022.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yep. Thank you for listening as always. Also, as always, thank you to Crown Digital, Brandon and Aya for putting us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. To me, thank you for editing and putting us on YouTube. And thank you both for appreciating Silk Sonic with me because that was so much fun. I love them. Audience, let us know what you think of our list. Let us know who your favorite music artists were in 2021. Let us know if we missed any of yours because we covered a lot in a lot of different areas. But, maybe we still missed it because there's a lot of people making music out there.
There's a lot of rock stars that we probably missed out there.
Probably, yeah. You can hit us up in the comments or hit us on Twitter at y'all_different, Instagram and Tumblr at Creative Differences Podcast, or Facebook.com/Creative Differences PC. Please talk to me about hip hop on Twitter and Instagram at A King Named Simba.
Hey, I'm Gabby, and please send me your favorite divorce and or breakup album on the Instagrams at Stegosaurus.
Hey guys, I need more friends to talk to about Dev Cameron. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Dreamy Films. Dreamy is spelled DREEMI. Thanks again for joining us. And like I said, make sure you tune in tomorrow where we will be talking about the year of 2022 that is now coming our way.
Yep. Also, if you want to find Colin and ask him if those bands and artists are real, you can find him on Twitter at Certified Hater Boy.
Good one.
Thank
you. Good
you.
one.
It's been different. Bye.
Bye. Oh, also earlier when I said Neutral Milk Hotel, that's a real band.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That sounds like something Colin would have on his list. That's really funny. Boom, we got it.